In discussions about obesity, a common narrative has emerged that places blame squarely on the type of food people consume, specifically processed, sugary, or junk foods. While it is true that highly palatable, calorie-dense foods can encourage overeating, the full picture is more nuanced. In reality, many cases of weight gain and obesity arise not from the nature of the food itself, but from the quantity in which it is consumed. Simply put, even healthy foods, avocados, nuts, whole grains, olive oil, fruit smoothies, can lead to weight gain when eaten in excess. The body does not discriminate where calories come from when it comes to storing energy as fat. Energy balance remains the fundamental equation. If more calories are consistently taken and then burned, weight gain will occur, regardless of the food's nutritional profile. This principle challenges a widely accepted but often misleading health belief that eating only clean, unprocessed, or organic foods will automatically prevent weight gain. This is an appealing idea because it simplifies weight management into a moral dichotomy of good versus bad foods. But in reality, it is entirely possible to eat a diet composed of nutrient-dense, whole foods and still gain weight if the portions are too large or if hunger cues are consistently ignored or overridden. This is particularly relevant in today's wellness culture, where certain foods are promoted as superfoods and consumed liberally, without regard to their caloric content. A handful of nuts is an excellent snack, rich in healthy fats, protein, and micronutrients, but multiple handfuls per day can add up to hundreds of extra calories. The same goes for foods like granola, nut butters, hummus, or even fruit, which are healthful in moderation but calorie-dense when portion sizes are uncontrolled. The tendency to overeat even healthy food is often driven not by gluttony, but by emotional and environmental factors. Stress, boredom, screen use during meals, and a lack of internal satiety awareness can all lead people to eat more than they need. Social settings, marketing, and health messaging also play a role. When foods are labeled as healthy, people often apply a moral license to eat more of them, believing they are free from consequence. This health halo effect can unintentionally promote overeating under the guise of wellness. For example, someone might feel justified in consuming an entire smoothie bowl loaded with fruit, granola, and nut butter because it's plant-based and organic, yet the total calorie content may exceed that of a fast food burger. Moreover, this focus on food quality over quantity can have unintended consequences. It can make people who struggle with their weight feel confused and demoralized, especially if they're eating a nutrient-rich diet and still not losing weight. It also stigmatizes certain foods unnecessarily, creating a culture of fear and restriction around eating that can spiral into disordered habits. More dangerously, it distracts from the broader, evidence-based understanding that weight regulation depends on total energy intake relative to energy expenditure over time. This is why highly structured diets based on food rules or lists of forbidden ingredients often fail to produce sustainable results. They don't address how much people are eating or why. That said, this does not mean food type is irrelevant. Processed foods often lead to accidental overeating because they are engineered to be hyperpalatable and low in satiety. Fast-adjusting carbohydrates, added sugars, and high-fat combinations found in many convenience foods do not signal fullness to the brain in the same way as whole, fiber-rich foods do. These foods are easier to overconsume and tend to disrupt appetite regulation. However, this effect is primarily about how certain foods influence eating behavior, not because they are inherently fattening. A person can become overweight from too many calories of quinoa and salmon just as surely as from soda and fries. It's just that it's usually harder to overeat the former due to fiber, protein, and satiety signals. Recognizing that obesity is often a matter of quantity over quality also invites a more compassionate and scientifically grounded approach to weight management. Instead of focusing on good versus bad foods, individuals might benefit more from learning how to gauge portion sizes, eat mindfully, and tune into their body's hunger and fullness cues. This approach also shifts the narrative away from restrictive dieting toward balanced eating that respects both energy needs and food enjoyment. Caloric needs vary widely based on age, activity level, metabolism, and individual physiology, so there is no universal intake that prevents weight gain. Understanding one's own needs, habits, and environment is far more effective than obsessively policing ingredients. In short, while food quality does affect health outcomes, particularly in terms of inflammation, blood sugar control, and long-term disease risk, the root cause of weight gain is often a chronic caloric surplus, even when those calories come from foods generally considered healthy. Acknowledging this can free individuals from unhelpful guilt and redirect focus toward the foundational principle of energy balance. It can also pave the way for more realistic, sustainable changes in behavior, ones that prioritize moderation over restriction, self-awareness over perfection, and long-term well-being over short-term dieting trends.